Welcome to the 2025 VBCC Connect, a day of learning, where your feedback has shaped our agenda. You asked for true learning sessions, and we're going to deliver. This year, we are committed to elevating your Sage experience and helping you maximize your Sage tools like never before. My name is Kelly Bergman, and I'm excited to introduce you to Wendy Gorski, our Assistant Practice Lead for our Sage Intacct team. She's presenting a full Intacct demo today. And with that, I'm going to let Wendy take the floor.
Great. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it. So I've got a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time. Normally a demo takes about an hour and a half. I'm going to try and do this in an hour. So if I go fast, you know why, and you can always reach back out to us and we can talk a little bit more in detail. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to go off camera here so we can just kind of focus on what we're going through. First of all, I just want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome. So today we'll explore how Sage Intacct, a best-in-class cloud financial management solution, helps growing organizations gain control, visibility, and insight into their business performance. Many finance teams spend more time collecting data than analyzing it. As businesses grow, systems often can't keep up, leading to delays, inefficiencies, and missed opportunities without that good financial data. With a modern cloud-based financial system, finance shifts from a back-office reporting role to a strategic driver of growth and performance. Manual data entry is transformed to automated transactions with optical character recognition and open APIs that pass data from integrated systems. Transactions are posted in real time, therefore reporting is in real time, and you gain greater insight into your financial data. So Sage Intacct delivers automation to streamline processes, visibility to faster decisions, and scalability to support growth, all on a secure cloud platform. With Sage Intacct's open API platform, integrations with other systems like payroll, electronic medical records, budgeting systems, and much more automate data processing. As your business grows, Sage Intacct grows with you. With Sage's best in class, you choose the solution that works for you. Sage Intacct has over 350 marketplace partners who have built integrations to Sage Intacct. These are just a few of our preferred partners. You may recognize some of these names, such as Avalara Avatax for sales tax, Paya and VersaPay for payment collection, ADP, Paylocity, Paychex for payroll automation, Concur for expense management, Ramp for expense management, Bill.com, and Use for AP automation. So these are just a few of the solutions that you can choose from to design the system that works best for you. So Sage Intacct leads the way with innovative features. It is the only cloud-based solution preferred by the AICPA and is HIPAA compliant. NetSuite will give you the first 4 on this list. QuickBooks will give you the first 3. That's QuickBooks Online. But the choice is clear. With Sage Intacct, we provide more functionality, and all of these come with Sage Intacct. I would also encourage you to go out to G2, which is a website where people actually can vote and say which different software systems they liked for different functionality. And G2 rates Sage Intacct very high in customer service. So let's jump into the demo. Here you can see that I am actually in Sage Intacct. I'm using Chrome because Sage is a true cloud-based solution. It was never built for a server sitting in your back room. This was built to be on the cloud always. So I'm using Chrome. Some people prefer to use a different browser, and you can do so. Here we're looking at a dashboard, and many of our reports in Intacct can be made into your dashboard. So we have a profit and loss with actual budget versus actual dollars. We have scorecards up here where we can see G&A expenses, which direction are we going? Cash on hand is growing, different things like that. You can see trends, our cash balance trend. Um, you can see financial ratios that are important to you, such as quick ratios, working capital, etc. Some people will build a dashboard as well that allows them to quick jump to, so you can see what you're closed through different general ledger stuff, but you can also quick jump to different areas in the system. In addition, if you look at our different reports, you'll see these blue hyperlinks. If I click on any one of these, it actually drills down into the data, and you can take it all the way down to the transaction that made up the data. So you'll first pop in to say marketing, and this will drill down to the general ledger. But if I have an invoice here, I can drill farther down into that invoice itself. And that makes reconciling, audit, all of those things a lot simpler because you have full visibility of your transactions. Each of these dashboards, we have different dashboards. So the controller, the CFO could have their own dashboard. You can have different department managers. We can have an accounts payable manager that has their own data. And so you can see each along the way, your different users can have their own dashboards and start their morning off here and see, where am I at? What do I need to do for today? So you can see the visibility that we provide. Next, if we take a look at the general ledger. So Sage Intacct is general ledger eccentric, meaning everything flows up into the general ledger. But to start off, your general ledger will be far more simple than some other systems, such as QuickBooks might have a GL account segment that has dashes and things like that. But we actually use dimensions to gain greater visibility. So out of the bucket, you have dimensions such as locations, and you might have one particular company, but you have multiple locations, as you see here, New York, Boston, Dallas. And maybe you want to transact financials on those locations or roll them up. We also are a multi-entity organization. So if you have different organizations with tax IDs, you can set up the entities, and these entities can have locations in and of themselves as well. In addition to the location dimension, we offer department, and departments can be shared across all of your entities. We can also segment things to say, if you choose a specific entity, such as maybe my US 100, and then you go into New York from there, but maybe New York doesn't have a marketing department, we can actually segment that, and that preserves the integrity of your data. So locations, departments, employees are also a dimension in the system. And employees can be put in through payroll. You can see we can have Max here is a manager, but Christine reports to Max. So you can see a hierarchical view. Employees that are listed as a department manager are then also can be used to approve different transactions, such as accounts payable, payments, accounts receivable, invoices, purchase orders, projects, things like that. Lastly, we have another dimension that we can rename to anything that you want out of the box. It's called class. But if you want to maybe segment things by channels, or in this case, this company wants to know if the sale is a wholesale, if it came from the website, or if it came from Amazon. So those are just some different things that you can do with the dimensions. When you purchase the projects module, you will get the projects dimension. If you purchase the nonprofit system, you actually get then grants as well. So we provide other dimensions depending on the system that you choose. So we have locations, departments, our chart of accounts, and all of these and all of your transactions roll up to the general ledger for greater financial reporting. And I will get into a little bit more here in a moment on our financial reports. I'm going to shift gears here to accounts payable. Here I am in our entity USA 1, and I'm looking at different bills that were put into the system. Intacct 1 can set up approvals for accounts payables invoices. That can be based upon, as I mentioned, an employee being signed as a department manager. So if you put in an invoice and you hit that department, that can be routed to Max for approval because a bill was put into his department. Or we can also set up approvals by dollar amounts. So if it's up to $1,000, maybe no approval is needed. Or if it's $1,001, up to no limit, maybe you want that to run by your corporate controller or your CFO. So we can build that out for you as well. In addition, you can have payments approvals to where if you have a payment that is set and maybe it is over that $10,000 mark, you want that to be routed before the check is actually printed. So we have payment approvals and also bill approvals. Also, to streamline our accounts payables, you can put in reoccurring bills. So in this instance, I have a couple of reoccurring bills, and I want to be able to set them up and not have to worry about putting in an invoice or whatever. So if I take a look at one of these particular reoccurring bills, you go ahead and set it up. So here we have rent, and I need to remember to pay my rent for a particular organization or property management company, etc. But I don't get an invoice from them. So I can put in the bill and then I can schedule this. And you have different ways in which you can schedule. This one is scheduled to repeat every month, but you might need something to repeat quarterly or maybe annually. So different things like that. You have the flexibility in reoccurring invoices, and that helps streamline your processes. In addition, everywhere where you are at in the system, I'm going to go into a bill. I can go ahead and click on the edit. We have a very deep audit trail in the system, so we can come into the audit trail and see who actually put the invoice in, who created it, and if they changed it all the way through, you'll see a complete audit trail of every transaction in the system. So in our accounts payables, you also have the ability to pay with checks or by credit cards. So you might have credit cards that you say, well, I have an invoice, I've paid it by credit card, and I want to be able to say that I've paid it by credit card. So I've come in to pay bills. I'm seeing all the bills here that I need to pay, and I'm at the top level. So I can work at the top level, or I can work at the entity level, and we will work with your team to decide on those things. But here we have check, credit card, or ACH. So we can help you put together the notcha file settings that are according to your bank's needs. And then maybe you don't want to have to send checks out. So you can do notcha files and just run that file when you pay the bill and upload it to your bank and let your bank do the rest of the work for you. You can set it at the vendor level as to how that vendor wants to be paid. So therefore, if you have a vendor that needs to be paid by credit card and you don't want to risk accidentally paying that same invoices by check, I know that used to happen to me when I was a corporate controller. So right here, I can set that these guys are paid by check or I can set it to where they are actually paid by credit card. So then when I go into that pay bills section, no longer will I see in the pay bills by check those invoices. I will have to flip pay these bills by credit card, and I will see all the bills that are needing to be paid by credit card, not by check. So it sorts things for you and makes things go a lot faster. In addition to automation, we can also automate at the end of the year exporting your 1099 file. And one of those partners that I showed you on the slide is Tax Bandit. So if we want to do 1099s and you don't want to have to deal with printing them, folding them, stuffing envelopes, you can actually just export the file, create a login with Tax Bandit, upload the file, and for a very small fee, they can do all the heavy lifting for you, freeing your people up to do things that is more important than stuffing envelopes at the end of the year. So with automated workflows, AP moves faster, stays compliant, invoices are approved and posted with a full visibility and fewer errors. And the purchase order module is also part of Sage Intacct's core system. It is not an additional purchase. So we can define by going into purchasing, we can actually define your workflows. If you have purchase requests that you want, then that request gets approved to become a purchase order, and then the purchase order goes to your vendor, and then you get the invoice. We can work with you on that whole workflow of how you decide that things go through the system. And in purchase order, we also have that full approval process as well. So next I'm going to switch to accounts receivables. Here I have a dashboard for my accounts receivables manager, and they want to be able to see where things are at as far as what their accounts receivables are. Are things heading up or down as far as who owes them money? Do we have any invoices that are in dispute that we need to work on? Here are some reports that show invoices. We can do top 10 customers, AR trends, graphs. So you can see lots of different reporting capability here. Each one of these is reports that we've said we want to have that report show up on this dashboard for accounts receivables. Again, just like in accounts payable, in accounts receivables, we can set up reoccurring invoices. So if you are an organization that maybe has monthly or quarterly maintenance or warranty or something that you are actually invoicing your customers for, you can set up reoccurring invoices that automatically generate and can be emailed to your customers or your members or whatever that might be. So I've seen this in the healthcare industry with senior care facilities where they will set up their different residents, and maybe one part of it gets billed to the actual resident themselves, but maybe another piece of the invoice gets billed to an insurance company or Medicaid or Medicare, and you can set them all up. But it will tell you how many times the invoice has ran, how much it is for, when the next time the invoice is to run, and you can have full visibility here. And then again, you set it and forget it, and that's that automation process. So in addition, we can have order entry, and just like the purchasing module, order entry is an actual part of the core system, does not cost you anything more. So if you have items and they can be non-inventory, or you can purchase the inventory module, you can have orders that come in as an estimate, and people can set those up, and then the order's approved, your customer signs off, and then it walks through the process, and you can keep track and report on the items that you've bought, items that you've sold. So you can see lots of visibility, and there's some different reports here for that. In addition, then we can set up to automate on the cash receipts side. Um, you can actually we have you can have 200 bank accounts. I hope you don't have that many. With 200 bank accounts for free, you can connect to your bank if your bank is participant in it, and your checking account can be set up to in the middle of the night go out, talk to your bank, and then we can go ahead and say, oh, well, I have um, you know certain amount. These different transactions have been approved or have cleared the bank, you come in and you approve them. So the system will come in and say, "Yep, this cleared, and this cleared." But you come in and say, "Yeah, that really did clear. I'm good with that," and then you clear the transactions. So basically, you can with that bank automation and the bank feed, and you set that up, you can have your bank recs done daily, weekly, and not have to wait until the end of the month to do some big task of reconciling your bank. Maybe you get to the end of the month, you just put in a few of those payments that come in, and actually you'll see if, like your insurance company, they hit you for $20,000 for your health insurance benefits. It will come into here and the system will tell you, oh, this isn't in the system yet. And then you can click on that transaction and automatically set it up. Or you can set it up as a recurring bill, right? So we can do a lot of that automation and make things go much faster for you. So with Sage Intacct, it gives you the immediate insight into your collections, your cash position, and essentially for managing day-to-day operations and forecasting growth as well through all of those different reports. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about multi-entity. I touched briefly on the fact that you have at the top level, but I have all these three different organizations. These are three different tax IDs. One might be an LLC, one might be an S Corp, whatever, right? But they are separate organizations. But when we transact, sometimes maybe you buy office supplies and you code different things and you spread things across your organizations because you're all in the same office and you can spread those costs across your organizations. But in many other systems, you then have to make a photocopy, put in a due to, due from, journal entries, all of that stuff. Intacct automates that due to, due from. So we just go ahead and say, well, if USA 1 and USA 2 are sharing some AP or AR transactions as well, then how do we want to post the due to, due from? And the due to, due from actually post at the point that cash changes hands. So in accounts payable, whoever paid the bill actually gets the due to, due from to the other organization that shared in that expense. So all of that's automated, no more crazy journal entries and then having to reconcile something. So in addition to being able to inter-entity consolidations and such, that's built into the system. So if I want to run a financial report, I go to General Ledger, Financial Reports. These are just some of the reports out of the box, but you can see I have this profit and loss consolidated right here. And if I want to run that, I can just click HTML to run it to the screen. I've already got it started here. So I'm going to put in my date and I want to run it by all entities, or maybe I just want to run one each individual or entity. But in this case, I want to see all entities rolled up. So consolidating financials in Sage Intacct is inherent in the system. You don't have to go into one side of your system, extract that to Excel, go to another company, extract that to Excel, and then do some, formulas and stuff. This inherit into the system that we consolidate financial reports, or we can unwind them and break them apart. In this case, I wanted to see Boston and New York. I want to see all of my different entities, locations broken out with a total column. And you'll see nice and clean how the columns are here. I can export this to Excel and there's no offset weird, blank fields and such. It's nice and clean to Excel if you do want to actually export it to Excel. So inter-entity consolidation, reconciliation, I can drill down anywhere there's a blue number. I can drill down to the GL, and then from the GL to look at those different invoices or customer invoices on the revenue side, vendor invoices on the expense side, and see what made up that number. Also, this is real-time data. So if I look and I'm like, "Ooh, I forgot my depreciation. I didn't book that." And I would recommend making that an automated general ledger journal entry, but maybe you do that by hand. And so you can come in and you forgot it, no problem. You can come back over to your general ledger, go into making a journal entry. I would create the journal entry. I'd come back to my report. I simply hit my refresh key in my browser. It's going to go back and refresh that data. You don't have to go out and go back in. There are a lot of reports that come with Sage Intacct. Here is the report center. So here I'm looking at just the financial reports. I can sort this list by module. So if I'm looking for a specific report, maybe in purchasing, I can come here and I can see, oh, these are my reports, and I can click on it right here and run it rather than coming out and going purchasing all. Here's all the reports, but I'm really not sure which one it is. Um, you can run them here or you can run them from the report center. So these are out of the bucket. We didn't spend hours, writing all of these reports specific for this demo environment. Depending on the different system that you purchase, financially, out of the box, you'll get about 50 financial reports, and any of these reports can then be utilized to. We just simply duplicate it and start another one. So if I come to General Ledger, I'm going to show you the reports that came, all reports. Here is a lot of the reports that you get automatically with the system. If I take one and I'd say, well, that summary one is really close to what I want. You just simply edit, duplicate it, name it what you want, do any of your modifications and checks. Our report writer is wizard based. So basically you just answer the questions, come through your account structure, come into columns and say, oh, I want actual. In this one, I want my I want prior month by one, and this. So you just add another column. And when we implement with you, we will walk through with you how to create these financial reports. It's pretty simple. You don't have to pay us to write all these reports for you. So as we looked at many of these different reports, if I run them, like if I ran an accounts payables and I wanted to run a vendor aging report, see this button right here, add to dashboard? This is on almost every report in the system. If I wanted to make my selections here, maybe I only wanted to see my one entity, USA 1, and then I can memorize this one and add it to the dashboard, or I can just run all of them and add it to the dashboard. And it's very simple. So add to dashboard, and which one do you want to add it to? Oh, I want to add it to my accounts payables manager. What do you want to name it? USA 100 AP report. Do you want to share it with the public or not? Well, I'd only want to see it. I don't want anybody else to see this report. It's that simple. Let me get here. So again, reporting is very simple in the system, and there's also other report writers. So in addition to the financial report writer. There's a custom report writer. And this is also a really quick wizard. A lot of these reports, if you buy the fixed assets module, they load the reports. When we load the system, it loads all these reports automatically in the custom reports. We've created some timesheet reports here. So if you purchase the projects module or you purchase the non-for-profit system, time and expense is also included in that. So we wanted to see some different reports to report on timesheets, and we can report on billable expenses, different things like that. So there's lots of reports here. There's 48 that some of them came out of the box. Anywhere where it's edit, these were added later, but anywhere where you got billable cost by customer, this was included with the system that was purchased. And then you can also purchase another interactive custom report writer. This is one that you would have to purchase. And this we recommend for certain systems. But for the most part, financial reports and custom reports come with it. And that gets like pretty far where you guys don't have to buy this custom reports writer. So, and then there are also other systems that we can integrate with as well. So that is our reporting, custom reports. And then you can see the drill down capability, full audit log. A lot of those things, a lot of the systems don't have that, like QuickBooks and things like that, don't come with that out of the box. And that's why the audit log is actually why Sage Intacct is HIPAA compliant, is because we can see who's doing what and what they actually changed and things like that. With our financial reports, we can schedule them as well. So if you know that you better have those reports done by the 10th of the month, and then you want to send that report to your CFO, you can simply come in here and schedule it. It's another way in which you can automate the system for yourself and not have to constantly be managing the system, coming in and sending it or downloading something and then emailing it, things like that. So I am going to go back to our presentation and give you a little bit more information. So what industries benefit from Sage Intacct? Kenzie talked a little bit, covered a lot of this in her presentation this morning. So healthcare, senior care, in-home care, specialty clinics, orthopedic, ophthalmology, things like that. Urgent care, we've also seen as well. Hospitality, lodging, restaurants, franchises, entertainment. I actually put this in for a golfing company, a little putt-putt golf. That was fun. Professional services, PEOs, marketing, consulting, engineering firms, non-for-profit, with or without grant tracking. E-commerce sales, because we have a connection to the different e-commerce platforms, so that those sales, rather than exporting out of your web system and then importing into Intacct, it actually passes that information using an API. Projects and job costing, and then also accounting firms. So if you're an accounting firm and you're doing accounting or bookkeeping for lots of different clients, then you can set up Intacct, and each one of your clients is their own instance, but you get to manage that from inside. So the choice is clear. Sage Intacct's ability to easily customize the solution to your organization's needs by automating processes and reducing data entry, organizations can gain greater efficiency and reduce cost. And with real-time accurate data, running financial reports, any organization has a competitive edge. So you don't have to wait for that exporting, importing, stuff like that with that open API technology that Sage Intacct offers. So to learn how Sage Intacct can transform your company's financial future, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to demonstrate how Sage Intacct can fit your unique workflows and your reporting needs. Just email us, reach out to us. We're happy to learn more about your organization, your needs, your wants, and we'll talk with you and show you more.
I'd like to thank Wendy for putting this fabulous presentation together today, and we truly thank you for attending the VBCC Connect. We know your time is valuable, and we are honored that you chose to spend some of your time with us today. We hope to see you again soon, maybe in the next session, and have a great rest of your day.